So, hey guys, what is up? I'm getting really used to chatting with you every day. Are you sure you're not sick of me yet? Because I feel like, I'm definitely not sick of you. I feel like we're just like a little family and we're all friends and we've been talking so much. Like, I feel like I know some of you guys, but I also know that some of you, this is your first time coming to a live chat, and that makes me so happy. And there are a lot of people in the room already. So, thank you so much for being here early, and just thank you so much for being here in general. I love it. I love you guys so much. What I just did right before coming on here live is I filmed my finale recap. If you like to laugh, like who doesn't, I think you should definitely watch it. It's going to be up later today. It's long, but hey guys, it was the biggest episode ever, so I felt like it needed to be long. But the beginning, real funny, or at least in my opinion it is. So please check that out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do that so you don't miss any of my videos or chats or whatever I may do, vlogs or whatever, because I got a lot of stuff coming up. You just never know what you're going to see on there. Aw, thanks for saying you would never get sick of me. You guys are so sweet. But just to let you know, probably in the next couple of days, I will still be responding to you on Twitter and on my YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. I may take a couple of days off, so I may not have like anything going on next week. I'm going to be out of town a couple of days, so I probably won't do like a chat or anything then, but I'm also going to try to do more stuff on Periscope. So I'm Kellie_TV on there. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, which is also Kellie_TV, so you know exactly what I'm up to, because that's the place where I tell you guys what is up. So let's start talking. Is this rattling noise your pet's playing? No, actually, and I'm sorry about that. I actually edit my videos on another computer. If it's really annoying, I'm super sorry. And it's kind of doing its thing over on the side here, and it's kind of an older computer, so it makes a really bad noise. That's why I had to get a second computer. But I've never learned Final Cut Pro yet, so I'm editing it on a PC, on a program I bought for my PC. So I'm sorry. I hope it's not super annoying. Like, I can hear it, but it sounds like an air conditioning unit to me. I don't know what it sounds like to you, but I apologize. So let's just talk a little more. I guess today was my second time watching the finale. And because I watched it without any distractions, because when I watched it the first time, I was live on Periscope, so I was like talking during parts of it. So I watched it without any distractions. I honestly laughed at parts of it. I felt like it was so silly and so ridiculous, especially like the very high-tech stuff, that I was laughing. And then I was laughing when things just didn't make sense. But thank you, Blog Baby. Thanks for liking my shirt. But I do think I have a better grasp of CeCe's story, and I kind of understand that. I still don't like anything they did in the finale, except for when Emily punched Sarah. But, I had a chance to think a little bit more about CeCe's background and stuff like that. So I get that. But what are you guys thinking today? Because it's been a couple of days since the finale, for those of you who watched it live. Maybe it's just been a day or so for those of you who watched it after. Sarah, Blog Baby's talking about Sarah. Yes. Now, I don't know if I missed it. And like I said, I already filmed my video, but in my video, I say, what is up with this girl? Like, they never mentioned. If they did, then I totally missed it. But how does CeCe know her? Why is she so important? Why did she team up with her? I mean, the only thing that I got from when I watched it a second time is that she kept seeing Sarah spy on the girls in the red coat, and she wondered who that was. Well, why was she doing that? Like, what is her connection to all of this? Have I missed that somewhere? Thank you, Amelia. That's so sweet. I look much calmer than last night. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sejev or Segev, or I'm not really sure. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I really wasn't that upset last night. I don't love, I'm trying to accept that I can't change it. And I did sign the petition for them to shoot another finale. I don't think that's going to happen, but I feel like we're going to have to accept it, I guess. Tony says Emily's punch felt like Charlie's Angels with the sound effect. I liked it. It was. And it was cool because when I first watched it, I thought she slapped her. But when I watched it again, I was like, oh, girl punched her. All right. To me, that's much better, Yeah, Yara says that Sarah's not important. I just do not get it. Yeah, so Nisi says they never mentioned how CeCe knows Sarah. The only thing that I got from it was that CeCe saw her spying on the girls and she wanted to know what was up with that. But why was she spying on the girls? What is her significance to this? Why does she care? Why does she hate the girls? Please. Yeah, Yara, I'm still not happy at all. you will tell when you watch my video later if you watch it. I went on some massive rants. I was calling out Marlene and Norman and the writers and, you know, IDC, whatever. I think they should know. I think it's Annie hated the finale. Yes. Sarah did deserve that punch, Rachel. I agree with you. Simona's saying that the CeCe and Sarah story might be shown in 6B. You know, Marlene's been throwing out a lot of new promises on Twitter and a lot of the interviews she's been doing. And I'm sorry, guys, but I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. So she could tell me that, you know, she's going to give us all $1,000 if we watch or whatever. Not that I'm not going to watch, but guys, she doesn't tell the truth, okay? So please, I can't, she may be telling the truth this time, but I'm not going to believe it. You know, if it's true, hey, all this stuff, I just don't get. I mean, she's talking about this person, Big Bad, being like the villain next in 6B. And then people on Twitter are telling me that that means there's an Uber A, even though she's told some people that it's not an Uber A. I guess basically anything she says, we should just expect the opposite. So there probably will be an Uber A is what I'm thinking. I don't know. Yeah, Nisi, rants help people calm down. It helped me. I just don't care if there's an Uber A, a big bad, a big Ed, a big whatever. Do you? Do you care? I don't. So Simona says, saw a post on Twitter of the woman who plays Toby's mom, and she hinted, do we really think she's dead? Please, please with the dead people, like, be dead or don't be dead. Like, when you kill a character, come on. How many times are we going to play this game that they're coming back? Please. Thomas is in Belgium. What's up, Thomas? Says, who cares? No time. So with Shauna in New York, why was she in a black hoodie with a gun? And what was the army of A's in New York? I don't know. I don't know if Shauna was part of some A team or whatever. In one of the interviews, and I've been linking interviews like in my live shows, and I can do that again. I think I've linked them here. Yes. Marlene tells someone that Shauna shot Ezra, I guess. Did we know that before? I don't think we did. I don't know what her deal was. And then she was somehow involved in the lodge fire. Blog Baby wanted Aria to be part of it. You know, I would have loved that, but I don't have any hope for that anymore. Angela says CeCe wasn't a patient Charlotte and Charles was. Well, CeCe is Charlotte and Charles. They're all the same people. So technically CeCe was in Radley. Nisi says, oh my God, can someone stay dead in Rosewood? Please. I feel like Ravenswood here. Are we going to Ravenswood? Are we turning PLL into Ravenswood? I just hate the fact that the show is still continuing because they have nowhere to go. Let me tell you right now, they have nowhere to go. If you want to watch it, and like I said, I haven't decided how I'm going to handle watching it in the future if I watch it. I expect it to be pretty ridiculous. So I thought maybe I'll make videos to make fun of it. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I feel like it will be so ridiculous because it already is. So maybe I'll just watch it to laugh at it and make funny videos because I can't do serious videos. I can't do theory videos anymore when they're just going to play games. So like if it's a game to them, it's a game to me, you know? Emma says CeCe's reasons for hating them literally kills me. I don't care who A is, just wanted a reason. Yeah, I mean, basically CeCe's reason for hating the girls was because they were happy that Allie was gone. Lame. I mean, how many other characters had much better reasons to dislike the girls or whatever, or they could have come up with better reasons. So Rachel says we assumed that Shauna was responsible for shooting Ezra. And then Marlene confirmed it in one of the interviews. Hey, Janice, thanks for being here. Love Forever is here. What's up? Charlie says the questions in Marlene's Entertainment Weekly interview should have been addressed in the finale. Completely agree with you, or even back at the start of season 6. Yeah, Summer of Answers really didn't answer. Yeah, they answered a few things, but they created so many more questions with this finale that it is ridiculous. I tried to address some of the plot holes in my finale recap, but I think my recap is maybe over 20 minutes. I'm not going to make anyone sit through something longer than that for a recap video, so I could not go through all the plot holes. I may need to make a video about those or a couple of videos. I tried to address some of them, but that is sad when a show has that many plot holes that I can't fit it into a 20-minute video. What is wrong here, okay? Yes, Nisi, but did it kill them? That is her new line. It's like, yeah, I harassed you, I stalked you, I tried to kill you, but did you die, you know? Okay. Hot Coco's asking about the flashbacks being up to interpretation. So Marlene got on Twitter last night and she was trying to defend herself or something like that to fans. It was very hilarious. I tried to catch a little bit of it, but it was like time for dinner and I chose to eat instead of listen to like her make more things up. Sorry, guys. But anyway, I did go back and look at it, and she is, oh my gosh, and I tried to explain this in my finale video, but she's trying to explain this huge plot hole we have where Toby and Allie were seen as teenagers with Toby's mom, but then in the finale, we saw Charles and Bethany as children with Toby's mom when she died. Really makes no sense. And then she was basically saying these flashbacks are up to interpretation. So we saw them as teens, but really they could have been kids. I don't know. And then, you know, Norman Buckley, who's a director, says all of this was dream logic. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I just kept expecting someone to be like, you know what, all that finale was like a huge joke. It's April Fool's in August. It's August Fool's. Haha. But it's not. Liz Life says, can't believe that she did not say that Ren is not involved at all. That she said that Ren is not involved at all. How sad is that? Why do they, I mean, I guess, I don't know what they were thinking, but there were so many things linking him. And as much as honestly going into the finale, I kept thinking, I do not want Ren to be A, but there's so much that points to him. He's probably A, and they're probably going to go with that because that makes the most sense. No. I mean, they didn't go with it. Why? It made so much more sense than what they did. They created such a mess with this. And after watching it again, I honestly feel like they wanted to be, you know, don't hate me on this, but I think they're trying to be a bit political with this episode. I think they wanted to get some messages out about dealing with people who are transgender, who identify as a different gender. I mean, I think that Marlene even said that some of the people on their staff had issue, or not, you know, experiences or maybe personal experiences with something like this. And they wanted to kind of get a message out to people basically about parents and how parents might deal with a child who's transgender, because they want us to think after all of this, their main message is that Mr. D is the devil, basically. He is the main villain of the show now, according to Marlene. We've never had a huge emphasis on him. I have no idea where this is coming from. This is ridiculous to me. And the thing about it is, when Charles was drowning Allie, I'm not really sure that he meant to do it. He did look really evil after it was done. CeCe says she didn't mean to do it, but of course it looked that way to Mr. D. It would look that way to anyone, all right? I still don't get the thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't get the whole Mr. D is the most abusive parent, the worst person in the world, you know? I'm not getting that because they haven't shown me enough. If they had shown us more stuff throughout the whole series, I might get that. I'm going to be like, you know, I hate him. He's awful. He was so mean to his son/daughter, you know? I don't get that from what they didn't give us enough. Literally, it's like they thought of it this season, okay? Janice says it was uncomfortable to watch, especially with Jason and CeCe. I also addressed that in my finale. Why did they need to go there with Jason and CeCe dating? I mean, it's so sad because Mr. D didn't even know that CeCe was his child. He just knew her as Jason's girlfriend. What? That is so messed up, okay? And Mrs. Marlene said that people who didn't like the finale are people who don't want to see transgender characters. Pretty insulting. Did she really say that on Twitter? Absolutely not. That is not my issue at all. They want to have a transgender character. I'm completely fine with that. But please don't try to take this mystery that we've all followed, where you've given such good clues for other people, and then make it all about having a transgender character and wanting us to identify with the hurt that someone may go through if they grew up that way. Please. I mean, it's really political, guys. It's really a social statement that they've done with this. I can't. Like, when I watched it the second time around, I was like, this is crazy. They're trying to take this story and they're trying to do something else with it, but at the last minute. Oh my gosh, let me stop. So I do agree with Annie. I think that's how you say your name, that Mr. D killed Mrs. D. I think that's what they're going to go with. But that seems so obvious that maybe they're going to make it real crazy and say Bethany did it or something. I don't know. You know, it is rude. Well, he didn't know, Yara, that CeCe was his child because he thought Charles was dead, number one. And number two, he never expected, I guess, Charles to look so much like a girl. So he just didn't know. Dream logic is Norman's daily life. He eats Toby's and Spencer's gummies. Yeah, Niecy. I think that's what's going on with the whole cast or the whole writing team. Janice, right. She lied about everything. That's the biggest issue. She lied so many times. I definitely addressed that in the finale video that I did. I mean, ridiculous. Why did the police board say that Charles had superficial charm? Isn't that supposed to be a guy? Or he was a superficial charmer? I don't know. They wanted us to think he was a guy for so long. I don't know. What is up with Kenneth's line to Jason after all you put this family through? I don't know. I mean, you know, Blog Baby makes a point that I made in my video, saying if you read the books, they kind of follow them. Okay, in a way, in a very weird way, yes. Because, you know how Marlene kept talking about seeing double? I mean, I feel like when I watched it a second time, I understood some things a little more, but it doesn't make it better for me. But she talked about seeing double, and we've talked about twins, and the twins are CeCe and Allison. Okay, so CeCe was like the evil twin. Yes, they're not twins. Yes, you know, we have a gender thing here that we didn't have in the books. But Courtney was the evil twin in the books, and they've replaced Courtney with CeCe. So they really kind of followed the books in a very crazy way. So yes, I do feel really bad for Jason She-Hulk completely. Nisi says the main issue is the lies. Absolutely. My very main issue, I guess I'll have two main issues with this, is that she lied so many times that now I can't even believe it. If she told me that it was the sun was out, I would be like, it must be dark, you know? She lied so many times. And two, nothing goes together. Like pretty much nothing makes sense now. And they're trying to insult fans by being like, oh no, you need to think, you know, outside the box, dream logic, this makes sense, blah, blah, blah. No, that's insulting, please. Who do I think the girls are talking about in the promo, Jackie? Well, at the end of the finale, they're talking about he is coming for you. I think that's a red herring after watching it again. I don't know what they mean. I think they're trying to act like it's someone bad, but it's not. But at this point, I don't care. Victoria, thank you for liking my live chats. I appreciate it. Right, the writers are getting paid tons for such a poorly done job. And you know, this show is so popular that it's still going to be popular. People are not going to completely quit watching. You know, it's been such a huge success for ABC Family, for the actors and actresses, for the writers, you know. Okay, Allie was A in the books, but didn't she have, see, I haven't read the book, so I might be a little rusty on this, but didn't she have like an evil twin, or no, or was she the evil one? I don't know, but I see what they did with the twin thing, you know? Really? So, okay. Will I watch 6B? Will you guys watch? You answer that, guys, in the comments. Will you watch 6B? Can't think of a show that has this many plot holes, says Amelia. It's like the finale was probably the worst show or episode, I guess I will say, episode I've ever watched, ever. If they refilm the finale episode, is there a possibility of a different story? Liza, your English is fine. I honestly do not think they will refilm a finale. I think they're happy with it, guys. Read their tweets, read Marlene's interviews. They're satisfied with what they've done. They think they've done a good job. Honestly, if you dislike it, if you tweet them, they either respond to you rudely or just ignore you. I mean, I know they can't respond to everyone anyway because they get so many tweets, but I don't like the way that Norman has been talking to people. And to be honest, the way Marlene has been responding to some people, it's really hard for me to have respect for people. There's no need to talk down to people who support your show and have made you what you are today. There's just no need for that because, yeah, they let us down, and people have a right to, you know, they don't have to be crazy rude about it, but you have a right to voice your opinion to the people who put these shows together, you know? If you say, like, you know, crazy stuff and use not nice words and stuff, of course that's out of line. But, you know, people were just asking questions, trying to understand everything, and they were getting talked down to be completely honest. Okay, so Shalisa says Marlene said the network didn't want Spencer as A, but the network was okay with the transgender storyline. Doesn't make sense. She's seen some backlash for making a transgender person the villain. I've seen that too. They could have had, you know, they could have had a transgender storyline. They could have even had it with CeCe and everything and not made her crazy and all that kind of stuff. And they could have done that in order to get exposure for the trans community in a positive way, you know? Rafaela thinks they did a great job. Really? Okay, why do you think that? Allie's middle name is a clue, Lauren. I don't know. I know. That makes no sense, Janae. It makes absolutely no sense. Have no hope for a quality show anymore, says Victoria. Absolutely not. Zoe doesn't understand why the cast and crew said 610 to make the viewers cry. The only reason I would cry is because it was so terrible. Because I think that they feel that CeCe's story is so compelling that you would cry because you feel bad for her and the abuse she faced because she was identified as a different gender. The problem I have with that is that we never knew any of this was going on. I think if they wanted to build up that storyline, I think they could have built up a very strong storyline around a transgender character without making the transgender character psycho, okay? They could have made CeCe this person. They could have spent a season or seasons showing what she faced as a child and what happened to her as an adult and how it was hard on her and made their points without doing all this. It was so rushed. You can't feel so super compassionate for someone when you just learned their story in like less than an hour. Is Lauren a boy's name, Elizabeth? I didn't know. I don't know any Laurens, but I don't know. I think that's a crazy clue and it means nothing. They had, yeah, Jemiah thinks they changed because Ren was a Lauren clue and they changed it because of the spoilers. Honestly, I don't think they changed it because of the spoilers, because if you read the Reddit spoilers, there's so much other nonsense in there that never happened, like that Lorenzo was going to get killed, that Allie and Emily kissed at prom, that Spencer was getting into Oxford. I just think they really thought this CeCe storyline was good. However, I don't buy that they thought this from the very beginning. I don't think that they had this planned out from the very, very beginning. I think that's not true. What might make up for the suckiness of this episode, Sajeb, is some deleted scenes that will complement the story. Well, what I don't understand is that, you know, Marlene took all this time to explain things to reporters from various like magazines and entertainment organizations, but she never explained it in the show. And you can't just assume that all your fans are going to read all your interviews in all these various places. And I'm trying to get them out there, like on Twitter and on in the description box of my videos. But come on, like, why didn't they explain this stuff in the show? Elizabeth says, if she spent her whole life dressing up and wanting to be a girl, why would you dress as a boy for prom? You know, she showed up at that prom, I don't know, maybe just to fool them into thinking it's a guy. I mean, I don't know. Janice felt like she was watching a different show completely, comparing this episode to the Dollhouse. I did too. I talk about that in my video. There are a lot of plot holes, says Grace. Let me scroll back up. Like Emily goes up to Toby when he's moving things out of a truck. Toby tells Emily that his mom had gotten married. They are teens at this point. Yeah, I know. I kind of addressed that earlier. It's so ridiculous. I mean, completely ridiculous. Yes, Ashley can be a boy's name. Yeah, I don't think Ren was ever supposed to be A, as Nisi said. I feel like they were confident with this decision, as crazy as it is. Vlog Baby says 1 billion times Sarah has been in PLL since 6-1. Really? You saying that she hasn't been in? Oh, she's only been in since, okay, that's what you're saying. She's only been in it since this season, right? So we deserve it, but I completely agree that we need a better person to be Red Coat and Black Veil. Okay, so Raffaella liked the episode, and that's fine. And, you know, some people did, okay? Honestly, she likes that CeCe is A. Okay, why? I mean, just out of curiosity, not to be like rude completely, why did you like that CeCe was A? And I don't have as much of an issue that CeCe is A is the fact that I don't feel like they supported it through pretty much all of the old episodes. That's what I think. Stephanie says, what about the walking after midnight clue? How did the old music apply to CeCe? No clue, but the one thing that stuck out to me was when she was at the airport in the finale and she was speaking French, and you know how A liked the French music, so I guess that kind of connects. And the dresses connect because we always wondered, like, why in the Christmas episode was her mom hiding a little girl's dress, which basically would have fit Allie, and it was for CeCe. That's why. But anyway. Zoe says, has Marlene explained the CeCe prom queen and drama club in the yearbook? No, I don't think she has. That's one of the things I discussed in my finale video, because she was the prom queen of Rosewood, CeCe was, but she didn't go to school there. So try to explain that for me, please. Please re-comment. Like, if I missed your comment, just keep posting it because they're flying by, and I love it though. I don't know what Sarah's interest, Victoria. I have no idea why she was wanting to hate on the girls and stalk them and stuff. I have no clue. I feel like they should have already told us, to be honest, because the fact is she was revealed as this really uber villain, and we have no idea what her motive is, and that's weird to me. I don't think they should tell us after the fact. They should have already told us. Love Forever says the interviews were a slap in the face because why can't we get straight answers like she did with the interview? That makes no sense to me. Like, if you read her Entertainment Weekly interviews, it's like, why did you not tell us this in the show? Okay. Elizabeth with another great question. What about all the clown clues? The sweets, the scotch, the man suits, the Bobo ice cream. What did that mean? Were you on crack when you were writing these episodes? Why did you put all that in there? I don't know. Okay. Niecy says Marlene will say CeCe changed it. I mean, I really don't get it. Why did Sarah's room at the dollhouse look like a grave? Asked Janae. I guess that was all a setup because she was really working with CeCe, so they wanted them to think that she was a prisoner, but she wasn't. That was all fake. That's what I think. Somebody's asking me if I can dance the continental drift on the ice age. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds fun. Okay, so Bethany framed Charles for Toby's mom's murder, yet Jessica bought her a horse and took her to picnics. You know what I think is Janae's asking why did Ian commit suicide? I don't know. Probably the funniest plot hole to me is that Wilden was a child cop. Yes, because he was paid as a child. According to their logic, according to their dream logic, Wilden was paid as a child to cover up the Marion Kavanaugh murder. And then as an adult cop, he was paid off to cover the Allie murder, which we know never happened. That's ridiculous. Someone actually sent me a tweet with a picture of a child in a cop uniform saying that it was Wilden, which I freaking loved. How did Maddie from Dance Mom's dance work into it? Roger maybe? Roger said. I thought that was supposed to be a clue. I have no idea. CeCe got out of Radley more times than Mona, says Once Upon a Read. And I think this is Tara. You need to check your Twitter direct messages. There's a very important message for you in there. So get back to me when you have time. Marlene and the writers are on Toby's gummy, says Niecy. Yes, daily. Annie says, did people in Radley know that Charles's death wasn't real? And did they know about the transition? I guess how they're trying to explain that is that Charles was taken out of Radley and just maybe got better or something. And then Charlotte was a new person brought into Radley. But okay, here guys, like listen to this. So if you have like Mrs. D bringing in her son and then like maybe he got better or whatever and he got let out. Then all of a sudden she's bringing in her daughter of the same age that no one knew about. Would people not be a little suspicious? Like why is she bringing her whole family in here? Weird. Jemiah says Sarah helped CeCe because she let her use her shower. What was Sarah's obsession with taking showers? Emma says Wilden's age changed 3 times. That's to me is the funniest thing. They want us to believe he was a child cop who was covering up Marion Kavanaugh's murder. Love it. CeCe's robe and Radley had a belt. The original redcoat who visited Mona did not. It's obvious it wasn't CeCe. Hot Cocoa wasn't she wearing a red trench coat when she went to visit Mona? Not a bathrobe. I mean, I think if you go back to that episode, you'll see that it was an actual trench coat and not a bathrobe, and the bathrobe was ridiculous. Can they not even get the facts straight? Elizabeth, I feel bad for Jason too. It's like, Jason, I'm not a boy and I'm not your brother and I was your girlfriend, Was CeCe and Radley after killing Wilden? No, because I don't think anyone knows that CeCe, she was like out by then. No one knew that she did that. Why would CeCe send a photo of dead Mrs. D to Allie? Asked Jackie. Very good question. She really was hurt, or so she wants us to believe, by her mother's death. Why would she be bragging about it and sending like a dead photo, like a dead body photo to Allie? If you were grieving, you're not going to send a pic of your mom to people and be like, ha ha ha, I buried your mom, which was my mom. Please. Poor Jason dated 2 of his sisters. How does the whole prank thing with Allie, CeCe, Mrs. D make sense if CeCe was a patient at Radley? I don't know. Amelia is asking if Bradley just lets people go on holiday like they go have fun in Cape May, Charlotte. You're not in danger at all. Well, what I'm thinking here is that by the time she was CeCe, I think her treatment at Radley was over, right? Is that right? I feel like she was escaping when she was still going by the name Charlotte. I could be wrong. Ashley, thank you for being here. We talked on Twitter. Yes. What is the motive to torture the girls? I don't know. The only motive that she gave from CeCe's point of view is that she was mad that they were happy that Allie wasn't around anymore. It really makes no sense. And, as time went on, they really were trying to figure out where Allie was and they wanted her to be alive. So whatever. Allie hated all of it. Still going to watch it. I feel ya, but yeah. You have to watch it with a new perspective. You don't have to, but at least I feel like I will. I can't watch it and take it seriously and expect whatever Marlene tweets out is going to happen or whatever she promises is going to happen. I know that it won't happen if she says it. So I have to look at it with a different point of view, you know? Blog Baby says, why did Mona think CeCe was Allie? If she did, she didn't really like Allie, so why would she listen to her? I don't know. The only part that made Jemiah sad was when she found Mrs. D. And props to Vanessa, who is the actress who plays CeCe. I will say I think she did an incredible job with that episode. It was very compelling when she was, you know, crying on top of her mom's body and hoping she was alive, and a lot of stuff was good with her. Poland, hey, thanks for being here. I know you were here earlier, and now you're back. Very good. So CeCe was only let to go to school. Thank you, Nisi. So CeCe was going to college. Was it Penn State or something? Was that where she was going? So how was she going on these trips and things? I don't know. And when she was there, was she going by CeCe at that point, or was she going by Charlotte? So confused. Roger says, yesterday I talked about Big Bad. How did I find out about this? I believe it is in there's 2 Entertainment Weekly articles. I think I have at least one of them in the down bar here linked, because I can't link him in the comments of a live chat. So Marlene's talking about Big Bad's going to be like the new villain. She told someone at Entertainment Weekly that they are not associated with A. Take that for what it is. You can choose to believe it or not. What did Maya know, Rachel? Very good question. Maya knew whatever Marlene knew, probably, which was a bunch of nothing. Art and Beauty Freak is so sad that you missed. I'm sorry that you missed it too, but thank you for checking in on the last 30 minutes. CeCe was still in Radley when Mona was there. Okay. Is she going by CeCe then? All right. Hi, Kim. Thanks for being here. Ashley says, feel like all the previous seasons don't matter, and it just doesn't matter that we watched all this time because they just slapped on an ending that didn't follow the rest of the show. I think Ashley put that very well. That is what is so frustrating to people who love the show, in my opinion, because none of it connects. Little bits and pieces connect, but that felt like a totally different show. I felt like I tuned into a finale for something I never even watched before, and I'm just like, what? I mean, is that how you guys felt? Tara, thank you for messaging me back on Twitter. I will check it when the show's over, and I'll get back to you. Grace says maybe it's a trick. Do not believe they actually thought this was a good ending. I really think they do believe it's a good ending, sadly. I really think they do. I really do. Court, what's up? Wants to know what is their excuse for saying that Marion died a year and a week ago in 213 when Toby and Emily were outside. We talked about that a little bit earlier. They don't think of it as a dream. Marlene tried to defend it on Twitter, saying that even though we see Toby and Allie, I think, or whoever was the girl in that scene, as teenagers, that's just kind of how we see it, but they could have been kids. And please, you can go on her Twitter. It's relatively high up. It's not that old of a tweet where she tries to explain it, and it makes absolutely no sense. Exactly, Marciello. I completely agree that Sarah was taking all those showers to communicate with CeCe. I always felt like she was communicating with A/Charles. So I think everyone pretty much assumed that Sarah was bad news. I didn't think that she would be red coat and black veil, though. I didn't think they would go that far, but I did think she was bad news. Upset that we didn't get to see them graduate, says Jonathan. You know, that would have been cool. They really didn't have time to fit all that in. They had to rush all of that. I don't know why they felt they had to rush all of that. It was pretty ridiculous. Grace says it was like someone did a bad parody of the show. 1000% agree with you, Grace. What about Eddie Lamb recognizing Arya and Radley? Amana, I'd always thought about that. I always thought she was somehow connected. I no longer think that, and that makes me so sad, and I don't understand. Feel like the finale was so rushed, says Poland. Completely agree. I'm sorry, Love Forever. We can talk some on Periscope maybe in the next couple of days. Jonathan feels like the whole Spencer plot line for the story this season was pointless. Totally pointless. All of it was pointless. They really tried hard to make Arya seem like she was involved this season. All the stuff they did to make Ezra seem shady, all of the Caleb clues they threw out there, all of the Ren clues they threw out there, all of them were a waste, all right? You asked a question to Marlene, Nisi, is that what you're saying? Deja said, Marlene said in an interview that she filmed a scene with CeCe in another sanitarium with Dr. Sullivan, Allison, and Jason, but cut it out. I wonder what Dr. Sullivan, what her relevance is. Probably they will never tell us. She said we were going to see them graduate? Really? Did she really say that? Was it supposed to be in the finale? I can't take it. What about Arya and the dolls in the mirror? Asked Jackie. I don't know. I felt like that was so important. I talked about it a lot in my old videos. Apparently, it was more crap. Elizabeth says they had 10 episodes, yet they chose to add useless crap into the episodes. Some of the episodes from season 6 were bore fests. I complained about them. You know, the ones leading up to the finale. I said, you know, these are terrible. These are wastes of time, but I have a feeling that they're going to make the finale amazing, and then all of this will make sense. Nope. No. The finale was worse. The entire show was pointless, Nisi. Thank you. Let's face it. I have to face it. I faced it. I'm facing it. Roger saying Sarah Harvey has Stockholm syndrome where you identify with your abductor and have empathy for them, and that's why she helped CeCe. I don't really know. I mean, we can only guess at this point what the deal is, why they've teamed up, because they didn't explain it. I don't know. Jardy says at prom, while Sarah was with the liars, they also saw Red killed, but Sarah was standing next to the girls. How is that possible? I don't know. Mona was being shady in the episode because she said she wanted to see how it ended. Liar, says Blog Baby. I think it's hilarious how she just casually said, you know what, I killed Bethany because I thought it was Allie. But it was just so casual. Like, I committed a murder here. Okay. And everyone's just supposed to be like, oh, you did? Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. Weird. Rachel's like, why do we have so many filler episodes? She could have answered so many questions. I don't know. It kills me. I mean, she spent all that time answering questions that reporters had. She couldn't have put some of that in the other episodes, like leading up to the finale. I don't get it. Why would the girls forgive CeCe? Asked She-Hulk. Watched the episode and really couldn't see it because they and pretty much the writers and the directors of the show see Mr. D as the mega villain who was abusive verbally to his son/daughter, and they feel bad for CeCe, and that's completely why they want us to hate Mr. D and feel like he is the absolute villain. Roger's asking where my cat is. You know, I went back to watch it because I was like, how did they see my cat or one of my cats? And I noticed there's a blanket back here that he likes to sleep on, and he was jumping over the blanket for some reason, but I don't know where he is. He's probably sleeping somewhere. Both my cats are, because that's what they do. Marlene said that CeCe being A and Sarah being Redcoat and Black Widow is going to make more sense. Well, of course she did. She says a lot of things. Again, I won't ever put any trust in anything she says because she has lied so many times. And, you know, at some point, this is like in real life. If I have a friend who keeps lying to me, a couple of times I will listen to them and listen to their explanations and give them the benefit of the doubt. But after a while, you just got to cut them loose. You know, you just got to be like, this is not making any sense. All you do is lie to me. I have more respect for myself than to believe you. And I know it's kind of silly that this is a TV show and this is not real life, but nobody's makes you believe all this. You don't have to believe it, you know? Sorry. But did you die? Dave says, I was happy it wasn't Ren, but the CeCe reveal was nothing compared to the Mona, Toby, or Ezra reveal, which is really sad, Dave. Exactly. Those were all so much better. They need to let the moms out of the basement, says Blog Baby. Absolutely. But apparently, I forgot what Marlene, and she had a funny answer about that actually on Twitter, that she said that they were enjoying their wine down there or something. I don't know. Daniel says Mona said she killed Bethany because she thought she was Allison. Right. She hated her enough to kill her, but why would Mona help Allison escape Rosewood? Why not kill her? I don't know. Plot holes. Marlene is like, yeah, very good, love forever. So the season completely sucked, and we've all complained, but Marlene's like, but did you die? But did you die? There has to be like a meme out there with her face on it that says, but did you die? I want it. Tweet it to me if you have that. I want to see that. I could probably make it. I have a meme generator on my phone. Janae says, why did Mona look so shocked that she killed an innocent person and not Allie? I mean, she did pick up Allie the same night that she disappeared. I don't know. I mean, it was weird to me. She was so casual about it. I mean, yeah, Bethany did kill Mrs. Kavanaugh, I guess. I mean, who knows? Maybe CeCe made that up. But she killed someone, okay? Janice wants to know if I can talk about how crappy the motives were, and I've kind of talked about it, but we can talk about it again quickly. Basically, CeCe gave the motive of wanting to harass and hurt the other liars and stalk them. Her motive was the fact that she didn't like it that they were cool with Allie being gone. Like, they didn't care that Allie was gone. Ridiculous. I honestly can't tell you what Sarah's motives are. CeCe said that she had seen Sarah spying on the girls and she wanted to know why. I don't know her connection at all. Okay. So Amy says, if Mr. D is the true villain, why were the liars tortured and not him? Amy, that is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Why? That makes no sense. You're exactly right. So if CeCe hated her father that much and he made her the way she was, basically, why are you harassing these high school girls? They don't even know anything about this. Okay. Okay. I'll make that meme. I got a special tribute to Miss Marlene King in my recap video at the very beginning. So I want you to check it out because I got a very special tribute to her. Will there be a Christmas special? Asked Jardy. I don't know. I really don't want to watch it if there is. It's almost silly at this point. Okay. Amelia says, do I know that CeCe actually said she talked to Melissa that night in an episode in season 3 and then changed her mind in the finale? Of course she did. Of course she did. Dave says, didn't Melissa bury Bethany alive, meaning Mona didn't kill her? Well, yeah, we know that Melissa buried Bethany, but was she alive? Because I know Allie was buried alive. Oh, wait, though, but didn't she raise her hand out of the grave? Oh my gosh, Bethany probably is still alive. Come on, people. Yes, Stephanie, the motive for tormenting the girls was absolutely ridiculous. She-Hulk says, so if someone tried to kill me, I will forgive them because they have daddy issues. Okay, yeah. Come on now. Come on. Thankfully, says K. Marie, or I'm saying thankfully, there's no Christmas or Halloween special this year. Thank you. CeCe's motives are a load of crap, says Elizabeth. I can believe her being jealous of the girls for being actual girls. Yeah, maybe that was what it was. I don't know, because they were born as girls. I have no idea. Thank you, Nisi. It should be up probably in a couple of hours. It's going to take a while to like process and all that. Yes, Poland, plot holes, plot holes, plot holes. Right, Michaela. They should have followed the books if they can't write a good story on their own. I would have been fine with that. I mean, I wouldn't have loved it, but if I knew they had a choice between this nonsense and what they did, I would have been happier with that. Bethany probably killed Mrs. D. Well, I mean, you know, CeCe thought she was going to try and attack her at some point, but I think that was a different night. Yeah, it was, definitely. Janice says it would have made more sense for Spencer to be A and stealing the game at Radley. Completely. And then it would have made sense and tied into that crazy girl dancer, and maybe Spencer had been there as a child before, so that all would have totally made sense. Thank you. Daniel wants to know which one was buried first. Did they bunk in the same hole in the ground? And who dug that hole big enough for a body? Well, apparently Mrs. D dug the hole for Allie, because that's what we see in the finale, which is like, she's got some mad strength there, you know. I guess they're two different holes. I don't know. Or was Bethany buried in the Allie hole? I have no idea. Kay says she keeps feeling like this is a joke and the real finale is coming, if only. I mean, that would be so wonderful. Debbie's wondering if all these questions will ever be answered. Probably not. She wants to know, like, not in an interview. Probably not. It would make sense for so many characters to be A on the show, says Chiara, but CeCe, right, completely makes zero sense. Them being girls would have been a better excuse than the one we got, says Nisi. Did anyone else hope that CeCe was just going to jump off the roof? That is so awful, but please. Love forever. My Twitter handle is Kellie_TV. That's pretty much where you can find me everywhere. Instagram, Periscope, Kellie_TV, because someone else stole just Kellie TV, and she doesn't even use her Twitter, and I don't think that's cool. Rachel still can't believe they went with the trans theory after calling Charles Shim and it. You're right, and I think someone said that earlier, and I didn't get to mention it. You're right. Ridiculous. So what if CeCe is for real Bethany and Ren is Charles? I guess Marlene said last night that Ren's not going to be Charles, Annie. I don't buy CeCe being this genius, says Elizabeth. I don't either, because she was like over the top smart, so high tech. And what really cracked me up is that she made all her money for all these expensive things on stocks. Okay. I mean, okay. Wow, Shalisa says CeCe has only been in 12 episodes this entire series. That is so crazy. So Kim says, I would have preferred Sarah to be a filler role than to be Black Widow in Redcoat. I'm so disgusted with that. Like, why did they make this person so important, you know? Allie wants a Halloween special. We could go back to the older season. The Halloween ones were always the best ones. I like them, but now if you go back and watch them, like, why did Hannah's mom see like twins and stuff? Or why did she see that little girl? None of that makes sense. Why was Charles' body a guy if it was CeCe at the prom/dollhouse? I guess he was trying to trick us, or she was trying to trick us, but I know a guy played that role because CeCe said she didn't play, or Vanessa, the actress who plays CeCe, she said that she didn't play A in like any of the scenes where you couldn't see their face. Michaela, it's really annoying that someone flat out said there wasn't going to be a transgender theory. If they wouldn't have said that, it would be less annoyed. I mean, she would be less annoyed. Absolutely. Why lie? They can keep secrets from us without telling straight out lies, okay? They don't have to be that, specific. They don't have to be that specific. Roger says CeCe is a stockbroker, expert computer genius, and a potential medical student. Come on, that makes perfect sense. Thank you. That was really funny, actually. Thank you. Rachel says apparently there's something in the water because Rosewood is full of geniuses. Right. I think this is what we like to refer to as dream logic, which is also known as a load of crap. So Grace asked, how do the girls afford designer clothes? They can't even afford their college tuition, but they can buy $200 pairs of jeans. Absolutely. Hannah always looked really nice, but she has no money to go to school. So I guess it's because she's spending all her money on nice clothing. Yara wanted to push her off the roof. Maybe they'll come up with a better A. Why did Aria write her A that way, just like A does? Asked Nisi. Great question. Okay, Elizabeth, you gotta go to lunch, but you'll watch on your phone. Okay, cool. Thank you. If you have any comments, wait till the video's up or just hit me up on Twitter or something. This is so funny though. I mean, at this point, I'm still mad. Don't get me wrong, but I'm laughing. If you've watched the finale more than once, I think you'll laugh unless you loved it. I know there's a couple people here that did like it. But I just had to laugh because I'm like, this is so serious. This is so silly. They really thought we were going to buy into this. Oh my gosh. Funny. Debbie hopes that Caleb is married after the time jump. Well, let's hope so. Now that we know Caleb isn't, unless Caleb is big bad or something. But let's just hope that Caleb's a good guy and they can at least get married. Marcelo says Charles should have been the same actor than the one in the, like the one in the dollhouse, because we actually got a close up. Yeah. And why did Spencer say that she felt like she knew Charles? Oh, okay. Janice doesn't know how they're going to recover this series. It's at a dead end at this point. Agree. So dead. How many viewers do I think the show will lose, Emma? I do think they will lose some. I don't know if they're going to lose enough to cause them any issues, like where they would have to cancel or anything. But listen to me, fans' voices are strong, okay? Like the show Friday Night Lights was canceled. It had been on for quite a while when it was canceled, and people freaked out and signed petitions and everything. So it got brought back on because of that. So I think you guys should let your voices be heard about your dissatisfaction if that's how you feel, because, you know, strength in numbers. It really does work. Are there any shows that you should invest your time in? Ask Grace. How to Get Away with Murder is excellent. I'm really hoping Scream Queens is going to be really good. That comes on next month on FX, I think. I'm trying to think what I watched that I love. Well, I think How to Get Away with Murder is kind of like Pretty Little Liars, except they never lie to you. It's a lot more adult, but they never lie. They follow through on everything they say, and you will never figure it out, and it's shocking. I love it. Hannah had an engagement ring. Yeah, apparently she Snapchatted a picture of herself with an engagement ring, but then she had to take it down, Ashley Benson. So I still haven't decided if I'm going to watch 6B and 7. If I do, Kim, I'm going to have a different outlook on them and look at them as being kind of jokes or something, and not really, like, I can't do serious theory videos anymore. I'm not going to put a lot of my brain power into this because I've wasted my brain power for years and there was no payoff. So there's that. Right, Ravenswood got the axe. I mean, Ravenswood, Glenisha didn't make it because nobody liked it. So Allie likes Parenthood. I've never watched that, but that's, you know, a lighter, more lighthearted show. Check that out. So Blog Baby says it was supposed to be that all of it started that A was torturing Allie. And then I'm having trouble reading all this. Rin, okay. I don't know. There's some missing words there or something. I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. Wayward Pines was a great summer show. It's on Hulu, and it has a definite storyline. I haven't watched that, but thank you. Maybe the real A is blackmailing CeCe. She had to pretend. No, Jordy, I really think they're going with this story, and they're not going to change it. The 6B mystery, says Shalisa, says, who killed Mrs. T? And frankly, I don't care. I'm with you. Just don't care. That's where I feel like they've really hurt themselves here. This was a terrible finale in every aspect that it could be, but if they wanted it to go out like that, fine. They should have made this the series finale, because they should have realized if they wanted to do this, they wanted to go that way. Literally, there is nowhere else the show can go now. There's nothing else to hook us in as much as A hooked us in. There will never be another mystery that they create or anything to hook us in. Kay, I did rewatch the episode, and I kind of learned some new things and got some new perspectives today. Jenna had more motive to torture the girls than CeCe did. Absolutely, Janice. Tony can't even watch old episodes because it's laughable completely. And I had planned on watching the finale, then going back and looking for all the clues that they promised were there so that I could connect the dots for this, whoever was Charles, to be Charles. And I wanted to do some videos on like all the different things I found, but now it's so silly that no thank you, because it's all ridiculous. Sejev says that Sarah, CeCe, Marlene said Sarah CeCe connection is supposed to be addressed in 6B. That's the mystery that should make us tune in January. I don't care. Dallas, the TV show, did a dream season for season 8. The whole season? Bobby got, well, maybe I shouldn't read that in case some of you watch it and haven't caught up, but wow. If this was a dream season, I may be even more mad. That's so silly. Why did CeCe let Allie go to jail and everything if she loved her so much? Shaf, that's a good question. Is it Minky? That's a very good question. Craziness. Was Ren in episode 1? I think so. You mean in the whole entire series? I think so. Tony says January is too far for me to even care. So agree. I'm actually so glad it's so far away. Usually that's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to wait all these months. But now, IDC. Poland says, come on, Marlene made one good finale with a good A, with a good motive. Our dreams wouldn't be crushed, like if she had, right? Okay, so Blog Baby, it was supposed to be that all of it started, A was being mean to Allie, and then when Allie went missing, she moved on being mean to the girls. Then CeCe started on Allie. I know, I really don't understand it. It makes no sense. Allie wanted A to be a guy, Allie on here. I thought it was a guy. I think they definitely led us to believe it was a guy. Oh, Ashley saved every episode on her DVR to rewatch and fill in the pieces. Yeah, and now you're going to delete. That's what I was going to do. I've actually bought them all on iTunes, crazy as that sounds. And I wanted to go back and watch as many as I could, or watch them in segments or whatever to find clues, but it's all a big joke now. So anyway, Trishna says that the story CeCe told about Toby's mom is fake because she died when Toby was in his teenage years. Well, Marlene tries to explain that on Twitter, so I don't think it's fake. It just literally makes no sense. So you can go look at her Twitter. I've tried to explain it like 3 times in this video, and it really like doesn't even make any sense to me. So you go try to read it because it makes no sense. Roger says, who was Ren talking to on the phone when he was coloring Redcoat, saying he couldn't trust anyone? I don't know. It was all fake. It was all fake. Ridiculous. Emma says, why did they bring in so many pointless characters in season 5 and 6A, like Talia, Johnny, Dean, Colin, Leslie, Reese, Clark, etc.? I don't know. How is Marlene going to justify all of the clues? They don't even matter, says Janice. She doesn't care. She's not going to try to justify it. She's just like, whatever, you know? So according to an article, Mr. Rollins is a handsome psychologist and will be sticking around for a bit. That's going to be Allie's husband. I've actually seen a picture of the actor playing this role, and he is really nice looking, but I still don't care, you know? Why did CeCe turn herself into the police for Wilden's murder? Did she turn herself into police for that? I've completely forgotten that. So you beat up your sister because she was going to leave, says Glenisha. Marlene, please stop. Can Marlene accept the episode is horrible, says Poland? She's not going to. She stands by her work that it was a good episode, and if we didn't like it, we'll either learn to like it or we are apparently crazy. I don't know. Marcielo asked if we ever saw Mr. D say anything bad to Charles. I didn't. But I think CeCe said she felt like he had a problem with her, you know, identifying as a girl and wearing dresses and stuff. The whole show is a red herring, Roger says. We have been punked. Agree. Craziness. They could have not followed the books, but still gotten the original writer of the books to write the TV show because she's so much better, says Zoe. I haven't read the books, but I could assume that anybody would be better than what we got. Anybody. You guys would be better with your theories that you've sent me, and I'm saying that being 1,000% honest. The theories you have sent me on my YouTube videos and on Twitter were so much better than what they did. I don't know, Kim, why they made Arya look so shady. Really, it had no point. Janice wants to know why they had Lorenzo as Allie's love interest for only a couple of episodes. I don't know. They didn't have closure. I don't know. I liked him. What was the point? Great question. I don't know. Tony says she'll admit how bad it was 10 years from now when she writes a tell-all, and she'll probably blame it on someone else. Jace is here, wants to say hello. Well, thanks for being here. I'm sorry that you missed it, but this goes up on my YouTube channel like in a few minutes after it ends. So you can go back and watch the whole chat, so it won't be like you really missed anything. Sylvia says the only thing that she really cared about was Jason and was so disappointed with the reveal. So disappointed, yes. If it wasn't for Ezra and all the other ships, Rachel doesn't think she would want to watch again. I know. I do hope they get back together, so I'm kind of wanting to watch for that. Poland says the fans made way better theories and they made much more sense. Absolutely. Sajev says could have been so much fun to fill those 5 months binge rewatching in search of clues, but now it's just a bummer. Yes. Blog Baby watches PLL on Netflix, and I think a lot of people in the UK do that because for us in the US, like this season's not even on Netflix. We'll have to wait until a long time, like months for it to be on. So I have to get it off of iTunes. Okay. I think this is the phrase of the week. I just don't care. Thank you, Angela. I think that and did you die? But did you die? Sadev also wanted Jason to be A. Yara says A turned CeCe in and CeCe is A. So that makes no sense. So CeCe turned herself in for Wilden's murder. I've actually forgotten about that and how little sense that makes. I wonder if they make a PLL movie, asked Debbie. I wonder if anyone will go, asked Kelly. If anyone will watch it. Angela says Marlene should have spent less time tweeting and trying to be a star herself and more time writing the show. Ooh, I like it though. I like that. Janice says they could have topped Ezra and Mona being A by bringing someone back from the dead. Yeah, they could have. But they chose a route that killed the show. R.I.P. PLL. It's like that song. R.I.P. You just killed the show, you know? Sasha and Troyan and Janelle are normally pretty good actors, but the writing was so horrible it made them look bad, says Shalisa. Yeah, it was so ridiculous. And when I was rewatching it today, there were times when Allie was just looking at CeCe like, huh. Like she could tell she didn't know the right expressions to make or something. Poland says poor actors who did a good job for 5 years and they get this. Roger says, will Mona and Melissa ever be prosecuted for Bethany's murder? I don't know. You're right, because apparently one of them murdered her and the other one covered it up. So in the real world, absolutely, but we live in dream logic in PLL land, so that would be a no. Let's see what other comments I'm missing here. Charles was the one who came back from the dead, I guess. I guess, but didn't we already know he was alive? I mean, right, Niecy, there's so many things that don't make sense. All I can do at this point is laugh. Amelia says, what is season 7 going to be about? Feels like it's going to be so boring. I can't believe there's a season and a half left of this. That's a joke to me. So some information for you guys. My recap video will be up, but it's probably going to be a little bit because I'm still editing it. It's going to be long. It's going to be funny. It's going to be crazy. I think you'll like it. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that you will know immediately when that video is up. And if you have a Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. I'm Kelly_TV because that's how you're going to know exactly what I'm doing all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but when I update you. That's how you'll know when videos are up and periscopes and vlogs and live chats and all that good stuff. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for still being here, you know, a couple days after the finale, still wanting to talk to me and for being awesome to me on all of social media. And for supporting my channel and just being my friends. I love you guys for that. Just because the show is over for now, doesn't mean we can't still chat and doesn't mean we won't chat about the show again like in video form because we can. But please keep in touch with me with Twitter and Periscope and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube videos, okay? Because I love you all and I don't want you guys to go away. And I always respond to everyone, you know. So I love to hear from you guys, okay? So let me catch somebody's comment real fast before it's time to go. Is it going to carry on from 5 years in the future, but the present has so many unanswered questions, says Grace. Yeah, I know. That's what's weird to me. Like, I don't know if season 6B is 5 years in the future, but then what's going to happen with season 7? Are they going to stay 5 years in the future? Are they going to go even farther into the future? Like, I just don't know. But anyways, it's time for me to go at this point. Thank you guys again so much for being here through all of this. And I hope we can take some time to calm down from this ridiculously terrible finale and feel better about life. And I'll miss you, like I said, but don't be strangers. Talk to me on social media. I will still be around, so you can chat with me there. But I'm going to go, and I hope you guys have a great, like, weekend. Like I said, I'm not leaving. So talk to me on social media, and I'll have videos up and stuff. So just this little part is going to go away for a while. Well, I'll still maybe do some Pretty Little Liar stuff, but you know how it is. So, okay. So I miss you guys, but watch my video later today, my recap video when it's up, okay? Bye. Love you guys.